come at me. Try and fart on me. Come on. Hi, cha!
Within the first 2 hours of the Stick of Truth, I'd helped Citywalk's hapless owner defeat the Mongolians, and I'd met Al Gore and started a quest to help him track Manbear Pig. I'd walked into Jimbo's gun shop where I'm a Little Bit Country is playing, and it's not referenced, nor does it need to be, but you stop and listen, entranced by the memories of yet another brilliant Randy moment, and the thoughts of what might be yet to come. The dialogue is pitch perfect, and it just can't be overstressed how important this is. Being a licensed game, you'd expect nothing less than the proper voice actors, but the fact Matt and Trey are heavily involved shines throughout every inch of the Stick of Truth. It's consistently funny, which is no small feat given the extensive campaign. In fact, the audio is a high point throughout, whether that's the music or the personality present.
Who do they think they are?
Walking around South Park itself never stops feeling like some wonderful flight of fancy. You get to see the mountain town with your own eyes, and it looks exactly as it should. The attention to detail is astonishing. Better yet, you're rewarded for exploring every nook and cranny of South Park. Locked garages, attics, and all manner of hidden away crevices will give you junk that you can sell. Whether you're fighting aliens aboard a UFO or beating rats in a sewer, the Stick of Truth takes you everywhere you could ever hope. But none of this would be worth a damn if the RPG elements of the game weren't up to scratch, which they are. It's mostly standard fare in the form of buffs and debuffs, but there's a deeper system underpinning it all. Weapons and clothing all have their own perks, but they can also have additional buffs attached to them, meaning different tools for different battles. Of course, there are plenty of non-affecting customization items too, meaning you can have your mute avatar looking as silly or as normal as you please. Combat is turn-based in the old-fashioned version too. Different characters represent different classes, and you can switch out buddies during battles to change the flow. Items, magic, you name it, the Stick of Truth has got it, and it throws enough new things into the mix at regular intervals that even the core mechanics don't tire. The fact most of your tools revolve around comedy on the show is a major plus point, and the repeating jokes about never farting on another man's balls never fail to tickle the funny bone. Rounding out the combat are summons, and if I tell you that you can summon Mr. Slave to remove an enemy from battle, there's a good chance that if you're a fan, you'll know what happens there. During the turns themselves, you can raise the individual attack power by hitting specific buttons or executing actions at the right moment. Likewise, blocking attacks with the timely press of a button can reduce damage taken, but if you block a longer, repeated attack, you can counter for a small retaliation. The Stick of Truth is a very polished affair, though not without fault. There are occasional issues when transitioning from area to area that manifest in slow down then speed up, as though the frames are catching up. These are minor and should be patchable. Occasionally, dialogue gets a little bit confused, and when you're really motoring, quests can appear a little slowly. The Facebook-style in-game social network provides plenty of laughs as you make friends throughout town, and the menus are slightly awkward at times. The map could also be more in-depth, but that's perhaps in keeping with the general lo-fi look of South Park. There are also moments where it's not entirely clear what it wants from you, but you'll always be in the right area, and with a bit of trial and error or playing with the tools you've got, that will usually fix things. Outside of combat, you'll often have plenty of side quests to explore the detailed environment. As you progress through the main story, you'll end up gaining skills that can be used to find even more areas. It has a slightly Metroidvania feel at times, as you may see an area that you know is accessible but can't do so until later. In that respect, the Stick of Truth helps you take your time with the game and never rushes you. What isn't quite as easily forgiven is the fact that Ubisoft have deemed some topics off limit. Censorship rears its head in some sections of the European version of the game, and one area in particular is riddled with censored scenes. These play out as still images with text descriptions of what you would be seeing. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but I felt robbed of seeing these moments, which is an odd thing to say when you consider one was a repeated anal probing of Randy Marsh. What makes this so weird is that there are so many jokes that could have been censored. The fact that Carmen's gang is abbreviated to KKK is absolutely fine apparently, but anal probing is not. It's just odd. I mean, why go to the trouble of getting Matt and Trey involved only to say that's not okay at the final hurdle? What makes this so much harder to take is that after the second of the censored sections, you fight a boss which is apparently deemed okay, yet would arguably be more upsetting to most people. It feels as though these censored editions have been included purely for marketing reasons and to create word-of-mouth chatter. It's also a short game considering it's an RPG. Without causing you much trouble on normal difficulty, expect to beat the game in around 12 hours, and that's doing a lot of side quests and exploring. Die-hard fans of South Park have waited an eternity for a good game, let alone a great one. The Stick of Truth makes you laugh throughout, but never forgets that it is a game and engages you on that level too. I had high hopes for this one, and Obsidian have fully delivered. It's hard to stay mad at Ubisoft for the censorship because you get the feeling that their quality assurance really helped this become the wonderful experience that it is. Don't be a conformist, grab this one and indulge in the stupid toilet humour and dick jokes that it possesses. One of the best games of 2014 so far.
Find out what they're up to and report back here. And no matter what happens, never fart on anyone's balls. You got that? All right, now go.